Now we have come to actually we have completed 7 presentations. Now it is time for the questions and answers. I hope we have 40 minutes.
Yes, 40.
Yeah.
40.
We have 40 minutes for the presentation. Now it's time to ask questions from the presenters. Have you already got questions? Are there any questions?
No.
Yes, I would like to invite you all presenters. You can ask questions from the rest of the presenters. Maybe as you feel that you want to know it very clearly, or any doubts regarding the presentation. We hope that you will ask questions from the presenters to make it more clear. Because this time is very important for the questions and answers. Okay, until we get questions, actually we have two panelists for this discussion. Actually, if you don't ask questions, we would like to ask questions from you. But before that, I would like to introduce 2 panelists for this discussion. Ms. Vishaka Lindakumura, who is working with us in the Department of Education, University of Peradeniya, and Mrs. Shirasa Mohammed, one of the visiting lecturers of our department, that is the Department of Education, University of Peradeniya. 2 of them join with me to the panel discussion. Vishaka, do you have any questions to ask from the first presenter until we get questions from them? Improving the teaching learning process in the virtual classroom?
Well, yes, the methodology that
this is Vitanage. This question is for you. Ichide. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Mrs. Vitanage. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, Miss.
I just want to know what is the exact methodology utilized in this study?
We have taken, since this is a new thing, virtual classroom, so I wanted to know what's their opinion, like students, parents, and teachers. Those are the 3 set of people who are involved in this virtual teaching. So first I wanted their opinion on this, and considering students and teachers, what are the difficulties they have faced so far, and what we can do to improve virtual classes. So based on this, I have made questionnaires, and did the face-to-face lesson and the virtual lesson on the same, based on the same lesson, so that I can have an idea what are the drawbacks I have in the virtual classroom.
Well, the question is, did you use action research or experimental method?
I did an experiment, and I have done an action also, because I have done an intervention for the virtual, the new set of lessons that the lesson I have done.
Yeah, actually, I think what you wanted is to perceive how the participants perceive the virtual classrooms. Maybe you have used actually questionnaire for that. I think we have to be very clear about the methodology that we are using. That's why we had that question. Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Vitanage. We would like to ask another question from our second presenter, Mrs. Kanka Namge.
Yes, madam. Yes, I am there, madam.
Oh, Vishaka.
Yes, I have a question. I'm very happy and a little bit interested in your research, because you have learned, you have studied a little bit of computer assisted learning And then synchronous and asynchronous learning, like using computer assisted learning and then online learning. But I want to know now. You said that you have used hot potatoes. It's an
Yes,
old,
ma'am.
yes, it's an old computer assisted learning software. It seems.
Yes,
So,
it is one of the OERs I found.
yes, I think it is a little bit old software that we have used, but it's better. At least you have paid attention to those computer assisted learning software. But I want to know, in this research, you have gone forward online learning. Isn't
Yes,
it?
madam.
Yes.
Yes, madam. First I planned it to do in our school lab, but since they gave a vacation on 30th of March, I had to do it as an online process. So first I planned to do it on the lab with the students, but that failed because of the vacation, sudden vacation. So I had to do it as a online process. So I sent them the material in email, and all the things were done online using Zoom and WhatsApp.
That is, and I believe that it is a synchronous learning because you know that it's not an online classroom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I believe. Anyway, I think it's a very good attempt.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I do have a question. Now, you mentioned in your presentation that you have used the VARK model.
Yes,
That
madam.
means that you have considered learning styles of the students in your class.
Yes, madam.
Can you please tell me what are the special aspects that you have considered when you prepare learning materials for auditory learners?
I made some audio clips to make them clear about the grammar points, and that was what I meant by auditory, helping auditory learners, because by the videos as well, and I added like a link to my audio uh, clips which describes the grammatical point further, and that was the only thing I did there.
Yeah, what about others? That mean the visual learners? Have you prepared separate activities?
Yeah, they were given the videos and the activities like matching and all the learners were given that, everyone were given all those videos, auditory explanations, then the Word document where I have given the written note, as well as they can edit that document and keep it with them because it was done in the Google form, Google documents, so they can keep their notes as well in that.
Okay, thank you very much.
And there is another question. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just want to know now, you know that now in your research, your topic is using computer-based learning to French language teaching learning process.
Yes.
Why didn't you try these, you know, that there are online materials in the internet,
Yes.
which you could use to teach French in the classroom?
I found some of the videos, as well as I gave some links when they were asked to do the activities. I gave some links for the websites where there are plenty of activities. That's how I provided them the resources. The activity material is not presented here, just only a few slides were there about the activity material. The presentation doesn't have the activity material actually, only few slides from that.
Thank you.
Okay, madam.
Okay, thank you very much.
I hope I.
Now, third presentation, we would like to ask a question from Mrs. Fernando. Shirasa, do you have any questions?
Yeah, madam, I have a question from Mrs. Fernando.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Now you mentioned about the authentic learning materials in your research. What are the types of authentic learning materials did you use in your research?
authentic listening materials
Listening materials,
actually.
yeah.
So this was the lesson planning I helped my prospective teachers.
Yeah.
I stopped there by planning. We didn't implement, but they have included was some of the news items, weather reports, and dialogues which were not present in the pupils textbook. In the pupils textbook, we could only find some of the paragraphs like that. But the dialogues, conversations, and news bulletins, weather reports, those audio clips were not found in even the text related to that kind of materials were not found. So my prospective teachers, when they planned their lessons, they have included those, and I guided them to include those.
Okay, thank you.
Shall I answer again? Now, you know that the Ministry of Education and the NIE had supplied some materials related to improving listening skills of the students. Did you pay the attention to the guidelines given by the NIE?
There are these resource books, yellow color resource books, and then there are some listening audios. But when the teachers go for teaching practice, all the schools, they don't have. Sometimes they can download them from the website, but not all the appropriate ones for each grade and the competency level we can find.
Did you check the progress of the teachers?
Yeah, I went through all their lesson plans. We developed lesson plans and some listening activities. So they sent those lesson plans to me through WhatsApp. So I corrected them and sent back to them, and different phases were there, because when I took 6 prospective teachers, the pace of catching the concept is different from one to the other. So I have to guide each one according to their pace. They sent me the activity, I have to correct it, send back like that when they are planning lesson plans. I had to.
Actually, I have one question. Now you mentioned that your research is an action research.
Mm.
How many interventions in your action research?
So in the intervention, I have 4 steps in my intervention.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is how many interventions?
It's one intervention, and there are 4 steps in that. 4 or 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, actually now whenever this is not a question, this is like comment. Now whenever you explain action research methodology, it's better to highlight, emphasize the interventions and especially the steps of the interventions. Your plan in implementation, especially the reflective part, you did not, that was not actually emphasized, because action research means that reflection is really important in the action research. Anyway, this is an idea, just to improve your research in future.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay, shall we move to the next presenter? Shirasha, do you have any questions to ask from her?
Yeah. For the next person.
Yeah. Okay, please,
Yeah. Is Damayanti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now, in your research, you have included that 45 pre-service speeches are included in the sample.
Yes.
Then, how did you do the observation of the lessons? Can you explain it briefly?
Yeah, 45 prospective teachers in my sample, but I observe the lesson because usually we get some few schools to observe the lesson, but I couldn't observe everybody's lesson, but I could observe where I was assigned 5 schools. So like 10 to 15 students, prospective teachers, I observe their lessons.
Then you have
That is the first phase. Yeah.
Then you have given equal attention to both the subjects, mathematics and science.
Yeah, because they are from mathematics and science classes, I mean, streams.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, can you please explain how did you analyze the data?
Yeah, I used observation, so use Likert scale, and also I used a checklist for every intervention when I do every intervention, and also prospective teachers reflective journal was very important for me, and discussions, thematic analysis I have done.
Yeah, you mentioned that you use thematic analysis, but
Yeah.
in your presentation, that in one slide,
Yeah.
but that actually you have separate themes for each data collection method. As I observed, that means for each data collection method, you have mentioned the theme, right?
Okay.
Normally in the research, what you have to do is
Mm.
we consider all the data,
Okay.
and then we analyze and find out the themes out of the data. Not
Okay.
like interview data, separate themes. That is not the way. Anyway, you have used the thematic analysis, it is really good. But I think whenever you do a research next time,
Yeah.
it is good to consider the whole data and then analyze. That,
Mm-mm.
that is
Okay.
the thematic analysis.
Okay.
But
Thank you very much.
yeah, what about quantitative data? How did you analyze?
So that was like SPSS use bit of that, but I didn't uh, analyze quantitative data much.
Yes. But what about the checklist? Haven't you collected any quantitative data with the use of checklist?
Checklist, yeah. Actually, the checklist where they, I mean, whether they use ICQs and how many times they use ICQs, and whether they use CCQs and how many times, and what are the instances. Do they use ICQs after every command instruction? So those things were
That means your data is
observed.
qualitative data,
Yeah,
right?
observed. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions, first answer? No. Next, we'll consider the next presentation. And do you have any questions for the next presentation? 5, 6. Shiraz?
Yes,
Okay.
in this research also, I have a question. What is the real or actual research methodology used in this study?
Module programs.
Yes, is Chandrika Kuladevan. Chandrika Kuladevan. Are you there?
Right. She does. Maybe she will join me later, or however, we'll move to the next presenter. Dr. Shiraz, do you have any questions for the next?
She's very good.
Okay, until that, I will ask a question. This is regarding the effectiveness of peace education.
Yes, ma'am.
This is NFO. Now,
Yes,
question is,
then
one of your objectives is to assess the development of skills of the teachers, right? Skills. Before that, can you tell us or give some examples for peace education skills of teachers? Can you tell us some examples of skills? Because you have tried to develop skills, but before that, Can you please tell us some skills that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, critical thinking, decision making, imagination, good communication, empathy, group building, skill like this.
Yeah, another one. Next question is developing those skills and assessing whether they have actually improved. You are going to assess them. But at the same time, you have used some statements for that. Maybe it's like a question, yeah? You have used some statements. But in your findings, you mentioned like considering all statements together. Now, for example, you mentioned 20% of teachers like that and 22% is like that. But there are 10 statements together. But I'm really surprising. That means for all statements, whether they answered as a similar way. That means the first statement, 20%, second statement, 20%. Because I think it's better if you analyze each statement with the percentage, right? That means the first statement, these are the percentage. Second statement, these are the percentage. It's like really surprising, but is that actually happen?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I also decide like this, but I have a doubt it will be too much long because 10 statement is included. My questionnaire also, I developed questionnaire according to the statement. This statement developed by the UNICEF, I get the permission from them and I develop my questionnaire because I developed already 2 tools, teaching training programs and questionnaire. Then I develop my questionnaire according to these statements. According to the questionnaire, I measure how much effective of my training program, how much they treat for the develop their skills, peace education skills.
Yeah,
yes. I agree with you. It is very better if it is one by one. If I do it one by one, it is very clear. I thought it will be too much analyze, will be too much. That's the reason I not use it.
No, not at all. Because
summarize
clear picture, right? If you want, I just suggest you maybe for the next time when you do this type of presentation. Actually, you can easily use a table, just showing, okay, first statement, these are the percentage. One slide is actually enough. One, just in a table, you present the percentages, and then you can tell us what are the important things by looking at those percentages, right? This is just a suggestion for your improvement.
I also have a problem now. Here you have mentioned under objectives that to find out the effectiveness of teachers' peace education skills. Did you follow any guidelines or something to find the effectiveness of teachers' peace education skills?
Ma'am, my questionnaire I developed using the 10 statements. This statement developed by the UNICEF, it is only for the measure the peace education skills. Therefore, therefore I can easily measure the effectiveness because it is the international tool. Then
even for validation, you have used some guidelines.
Ma'am, I didn't clear.
For the validation, did you follow some guidelines or model or theory or something?
Ma'am, my training program I validated by subject experts, education experts. I use questionnaire. I gave the questionnaire for them. They according to the training program, they training program.
Okay.
After the validation, explain about
Okay. Is you already completed?
yes,
Okay.
ma'am, I'm
Yes, right. Thank you very much.
okay. Thank you.
Now, I think Mrs. Kuladeva is with us. She is there. Mrs. Kuladeva. Is she there?
Is she? She is, sir.
Mrs. Kuladeva.
I am here.
Yeah, yes. Now, this question is for you.
Yes, sir.
You have used, now your title is actually effective module programs related to teacher efficiency bar. Now, actually,
Yes, sir.
you have implemented several modules, but this study was basically, as I understood, this study was basically focused only on the online modules.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, actually, can you brief us about your methodology? How did you do this research?
Yes, sir. Last year, December of 2019, I selected all the teachers and I held only 4 modules in my center before COVID-19 situation. But another 3 modules they have to complete. So I haven't any options. So I implemented my online training programs for them, all that modules. Because of I haven't any options to do that.
Yeah, that is okay. Now, effective
Okay,
participation, right? Your title is effective participation in module.
Yes,
I think,
yes, sir.
yeah, is that only, my first question is that only online modules, or have you planned to compare face-to-face modules plus the online?
Face-to-face modules plus the online modules.
Okay.
Well, I also have a problem with the research methodology. What is the research methodology that you have applied? Is this an action research or something else?
Yes, as it is an action research like this. Because first I did that programs and after that I referred the qualities and participation.
Yeah, but what we understand is action research. This is not really an action research. In the action research, there should be certain cycles. At the end of each cycle, you have to reflect on. Anyway, the effort that you have taken is really good, right? But for the next time, if you are planning an action research, it is better to consider the cycles and the what happened at the end of each cycle, right? This is not actually an action research, but anyway, appreciate your effort, right? Any questions?
Okay, however, sir, I could change my mind and all the I could improve my knowledge also this research. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she. Yeah. Shall we move to the last presenter? Critical analysis of global trends, which is Pushkoda.
Yes, I'm here, ma'am.
Shirasa?
Yeah. Now, you mentioned in your research, you went through all the curriculums of Finland, Canada, and China.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then what are the main characteristics or main thing you identified from your research that can be implemented in our curriculum?
Yes, I have mentioned all those things in my recommendations, especially when it comes to the pre-service teacher training program that is provided in universities. They are mainly targeted on the development of the subject content knowledge, and the pre-service education offered in national colleges of education with that 1-year internship program, they gain a lot of teaching skills. But what I found when I refer those countries, they basically, when it comes to Finland, within the first 2 years, they gain the knowledge of education and then move to another faculties to improve their subject content knowledge. So likewise, in all these countries, they target in similar proportions on both development of their education knowledge, as that means the professional content knowledge and the subject content knowledge. So what I see in the teacher education or the pre-service provided in universities, they mainly focused on subject content knowledge, and the national colleges of education, they mainly focus on their professional content knowledge. So what I want to say is, it's good to, if we can have in Sri Lanka, it's good to have both professional and subject content knowledge in harmonious proportions. And the other thing is, when it comes to the B.Ed graduates coming to the education sector, they mainly gain the knowledge on the subjects when it comes to the school curriculum, subject offered in art faculties. So teaching mathematics, science, and scientific subjects, they are not competent in, B.Ed graduates are not competent in that. I mean, the graduates produced in Columbia University and Eastern University. Only the graduates pass out from Open University, they get that through that natural science program, they get the opportunity to learn how to teach science. So likewise, what I want to highlight is this teacher education program, the subject content knowledge provided in teacher education programs should go in relation with the subjects offered in schools, as well as the professional ability, the teaching skills or the pedagogical skills gained by those B.Ed graduates, are not comparatively, it's not enough with compared to the prospective teachers pass out from national colleges of education. I want to say that it's good to have a curriculum for teacher education with similar proportion of subject content knowledge as well as professional content knowledge.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now, Bachelor of Education, the first thing I want to mention, we do have Bachelor of Education degree in the Department of Education, University of Peradeniya. First batch, they completed their degree. I just want to highlight it. And, actually, as you mentioned, there is one thing I agree with you. Now, all the Bachelor of Education degree holders, they come from the faculties of arts, humanities, and social sciences.
Yes.
Actually, we are trying, and we have tried once.
Yes.
For that, actually, especially for science, mathematics, there are no Bachelor of Education degree programs for science education or mathematics education. I agree. But
that's what I wanted to highlight, because now, according to the government agenda, they want to reduce the number of students who pass out from art stream. They want to focus on the science stream and technology stream. So that's why I propose if we can have more and more teachers who are competent enough in teaching these scientific subjects, I mean science, mathematics, something like that, we can have good education system. I'm not telling that but I want to highlight is the science graduates, they are not coming out of B.Ed. So if we can, they are just graduates are joining to the education system for teaching science and mathematics. So it takes some certain time period for them to get the pedagogical skills. That's why I wanted to highlight if we can have this good combination. That's what I want to focus mainly. Good combination of pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge in both university teacher education and national colleges of education.
Yeah, but I think there should be now, for that actually there should be another study or another studies to study the curriculum of each degree program, right? B.Ed in Colombo and B.Ed DEFNA, and also B.Ed in Peradeniya. It is, and also the curricula in National Colleges of Education. I think if we can do an extensive research just to analyze in the content, right? As you mentioned, if we can analyze the content of each degree program and each diploma program in the National Colleges of Education, that is really interesting, right? And the second thing, again, this is not a question. Second thing you mentioned about the producing professionally qualified science and mathematics teachers and introducing such degree programs. Actually, that was not highlighted from your presentation. But when we asked the question, you already explained very nicely. It's really good. But whenever you do this presentation, maybe ministry, national NIE, right, National Institute of Education, ministry or anywhere, I would like to tell you, please emphasize that point. That is really, really important for the country.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Right, we have asked questions from all of you. And actually, thank you very much for answering, giving questions very confidently. And also, we appreciate your effort. Before we conclude the session, Ms. Vishaka, maybe in very short, is there anything any message to be given?
Well, I think I'm really happy about the way that you have done your studies. And on the other hand, now you have so many opportunities to disseminate your ideas or the research work that you have done. And then, that most of the things that you have studied, they are quite interesting because we all are teachers. So, and we are in the field of education, so it's quite interesting. And I think that in an effective way, you have spent your pandemic period by involving in these research work. That's all I have to tell.
Shirata, maybe final comment from you?
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to you all to participate in this way, and you have done well. But don't stop your researches. Please try to continue your researches in the education field. Thank you.
Right, I think there is one thing. Again, I would like to thank all of you for your presentations, your hard work, your contribution to the field of education by doing different research and different aspects of education. Actually, this is really good. And because our purpose is to improve ourselves by actually presenting these your studies. Therefore, I would like to give you one comment which is really for your improvement. Now, for most of the presentations, actually, they are there are issues regarding, we all agree, there are issues regarding the methodology, right? Whenever you conduct a research in future, it's better to be very clear about the methodology and especially the objectives of the research. That should be very clear. What are the objectives of my research? And in order to match with the objectives, we have to we have to select the methodology. Maybe action research or survey, maybe experimental design, mixed method, whatever the method. It is better to read about the method and see what is it and whether it is appropriate for my objectives. Anyway, this is for your future research. Try to improve your research ability. And still we have, maybe we need another 10 minutes to spend with you. This is an announcement, like there is a video until we get the final results, because we are trying to select 3 best presentations of this session. Until we give you the results, there is a video, a short video. Yes.
Dharmaraja Navodaya, the master plan for the alma mater. Own and shape the future of the college. Dharmaraja College, one of the top primary and secondary education providers in Sri Lanka, has completed 131 years of service to the nation this year. For over a century, Dharmaraja College has established a unique culture shaped by norms and values that signify the Dharmaraja ethos and brand. From its inception, Dharmaraja College was a trendsetter in education in the country. Started by Colonel Henry Steele Olcott on the 30th of June 1887, it is today a school campus with over 50 acres in the heart of Kandy City and has all the facilities of a national college with over 4,000 students and over 300 staff. Today, the challenges remain the same: to think creatively and out of the box, to position the school competitively in a rapidly changing social and educational context. It is the opinion of the Rajans Professional Collective that Dharmaraja and the Sri Lankan education system as a whole is currently facing a number of challenges. Therefore, unless we intervene now, Dharmaraja would become just another school. The need for a master plan became evident during the past few years due to a number of factors: cuts in state financial allocations, red tape and bureaucratic barriers to carrying out development activities, and unplanned changes in staff all indicated the need for a master plan to streamline and strategize the school's activities. The Rajans Professional Collective began an organized dialogue to develop a master plan for the college in 2016, with the objective of first identifying the key challenges facing the school and then to provide long-term solutions. These discussions were enriched with ideas and proposals made by past principals, deputy principals, and education specialists. The principal and the staff, and also the president of the OBU and his team in the Old Boys Union, were instrumental in developing this master plan. This master plan will provide the roadmap to maintain Dharmaraja College as one of the leading education providers in this country. Vision. Preparing an educated, judicious and value-conscious Rajan who fits well with the requirements of the future world of work and who possesses a balanced all-round personality. Mission. Develop Dharmaraja College to become a provider of education that promotes the development of students through the implementation of a full curriculum in keeping with national educational goals, and to produce citizens who can face and overcome the challenges in a changing world. Specific objectives for hard skills development. Strengthening the education program by assisting both students and teachers. Improving the standard of sports through quality coaching and encouraging student participation. Streamlining the college extracurricular activities and outreach programs. developing infrastructure facilities. Specific objectives for soft skills development. Making students aware of the college's history and its core values, further strengthening the unique culture of Dharmaraja. Improving student discipline. Enhancing students' personality so they are competitive in the employment market. The way forward. The Dharmaraja College Master Plan will be in operation under 8 thematic areas. Each of these themes represent a critical area for the development of the school. Under this master plan, a common fund of approximately 100 million rupees will be established and necessary amendments to the Old Boys Union Constitution will be made to regulate the fund. Money from the fund will be strictly restricted to activities that are defined in the master plan, and a rigorous approval and monitoring process will be established to ensure the efficient disbursement and utilization of these funds. These are the thematic areas covered under the overall vision of the master plan. Dharmaraja identity and reputation. What is meant by Dharmaraja identity and reputation is that the product of the school, that's a Rajan, should aspire to a unique identity that embodies the core values of the school. A product of Dharmaraja should be someone unafraid to challenge social conventions and to stand against populist trends, to assert the Buddhist values by which the school has defined itself for over 130 years. In fact, a Rajan should be proud of his Rajan identity. Any event that carries the name Dharmaraja should align itself with the Dharmaraja ethos and has to be handled in a professional manner. Academic performance. Dharmaraja has always distinguished itself in the academic performance of its students. The school has consistently maintained high levels of achievement at public examinations. There is also a critical need to balance the competitiveness of academic performance with the values of giving and compassion described in Theme 1. Personal, social, and spiritual development. In today's context, many educationists, society leaders, and so on will agree that there is a serious lack of concern about the social and spiritual development of students. Teaching of religion as a subject is not the answer to this problem. Spiritual growth of students must be integrated into the school culture and be part of the mainstream in a range of activities that students engage in while in school. Career guidance. This theme is connected to academic performance. The two are closely interlinked. In today's world of work, academic qualifications alone are no guarantee of successful or gainful employment. Traditionally, the Lankan education system prepares students for a limited set of professions. However, a school like Dharmaraja has a responsibility to prepare students for a much broader range of careers. ICT and international collaboration. Within the Lankan education system, students' exposure to ICT remains somewhat limited. However, ICT in today's world saturates every aspect of human life, and there is a need to expose students to this diversity. As part of this theme, it is also envisaged that the schools and the OBU's online presence will be significantly enhanced. Sports, physical education, and extracurricular activities. The focus here is to develop a broad program to uplift the sports and physical education areas of the school. Connected to the theme of academic performance, and extracurricular activities should not be seen as an additional burden or activities of lesser importance, but a core part of the well-rounded education. A Rajan product should not be a bookish individual simply interested in textbook knowledge, but a mature individual who has a range of skills. staff welfare and development. Next to students, the greatest human resource a school has is its staff. The school and the OBU has a responsibility to ensure that the staff have the resources and working environment in which they are happy and are productive. However, within these limits, it is possible to contribute actively towards staff welfare and development. At the same time, the OBU, with its wide range of human resources, can also contribute to the continuous professional development, or CPD, of staff members. Infrastructure development. Dharma Raja College requires an integrated physical infrastructure development plan, which takes into consideration the school's medium and long-term requirements. The 53-acre campus of Dharma Raja is unique in both its size and varied topography in the education system within Sri Lanka. Even some universities in the country do not hold such extensive or varied land resources. There needs to be a more visionary plan to upgrade existing infrastructure and to acquire new infrastructure where necessary. It is also necessary to regulate and systematically utilize the land resources of the school in a sustainable manner. This is merely the start. You Rajans, with a sense of commitment, must ensure the journey continues, and your eagerness and resolve will make the difference in making the endeavor successful.
Okay, so now the moment we have been waiting for, the award for Best Research Study. And the special certificate for the third place goes to Ms. IHC Damayanti. And the special certificate for the second place goes to Ms. STD Fernando. And the moment of truth, the Best Research Study Award DERC 2020 goes to Ms. KD Kankanamge, and we have a special cash prize together with a certificate to her, sponsored by Dr. Jagat Premadasa, a consultant BOG at Anuradhapura General Hospital, and Dr. Mudita Lansakara, consultant cardiothoracic surgeon, General Hospital Kandy. And wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the opportunity given and the encouragement, and we learned a lot from this, and it's a great experience for us. Thank you all.
Have a nice afternoon. Thank you very much.